This is an awesome episode of Megafest, but I'm just going to call a quick TO to tell you about the Soulgasm Society. My mission is to create a community of supportive and uplifting women who want to know how to make their one short precious life all the more joyful, add in some play and celebration, and learn the science behind how do you make your brain happy, all the techniques on how to calm your nervous system, and how to not fly off the mommy hamster wheel, because you can't all stop working and you can't really get rid of your kids for more than 2 weeks. You gotta deal with it. And the best way to make your life happy is from the inside out. If you're not gonna do it for yourself, do it for your kids. They will see a difference. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And there is so much truth to that. So the Soulgasm Society is your answer. Come join us. You can click the link in the bio of my Instagram or the link in the show notes. I can't wait to have multiple simultaneous soulgasms with you. All right, now back to Megafest. Cue the cheesy podcast music. Welcome to Megafest, where we don't just manifest, we Megafest. I'm your host, Megs Malloy. I'm creating a community of silly and soulful working moms who are mostly happy, but know they're capable of more. More self-love, more self-esteem, more self-trust, more calm, joy, natural highs, more magic in the world, and more laughter. Each week, me and my guests will bring you tips and tricks on how to make the most of your one precious life. And we're going to make them effective and efficient, because ain't nobody got time for that. I believe in you. I see the light in you. I want you to shine your light. I want you to become all that you're capable of. So let's hang out. Let's Megafest together. Well, Megafesters, thank you for being here today. You know, I'm always all about the actionable tips and tricks that we can use to make our lives 1% better every day, or less suffering. Like, I'm all for less suffering, right? Let's make it easy. I have been taking this PQ course, and if you haven't heard the first episode about it, it's like 2 episodes ago, and talk all about how in our lovely human brain of ours, we have a judge, and the judge has like a court of saboteurs who are just trying to regulate the way that we get love and handle rejection and all these sorts of things. But on the flip side of that, there is also a sage, a wise knowing that is in us. The PQ program is all about getting ourselves back to our sage. And there are so many ways to do that. In the 6-week program, every day we do 2 minutes of PQ reps. And that is sort of a chance to rewire our brain. And each one has a separate focus. This week is all about your inner child and focusing on having empathy for the essence of who you are. And Shirzad, the guy who came up with this program, tells a story about some army. I mean, listen, he's going to tell it to you better, okay? So I'm going to give you the Cliff's Notes, the shorter version. There was an army who would just rape and pillage and kill and destroy as they were conquering their foreign lands. And they were about to come upon a Buddhist monastery, and they went through and took all the things they could find, all the fine things. And there was this one ginormous statue, and they couldn't move it. And they thought, meh, whatever. It was just made out of plaster, like, whatever, we'll just leave it. 200 years later, they were trying to move that statue, and they accidentally made a dent in it and realized that there was something inside. and they carefully removed all the plaster. And it turns out there was whatever it was, 2,000 pounds of 18 karat gold underneath all this plaster. And it was the statue was actually gold, and they had covered it up with all this uglier stuff to make it less appealing to the pillagers. And that, Megafesters, is what is inside you. There is an 18 karat gold essence of who you are, your original being that has been covered up by all the years of little t and big T trauma and things that we have learned and way coping mechanisms and stories we tell ourselves and listening to society's stories and all the ways that we conform. But inside is this beautiful being. Really, it can be maybe best explored when looking at a picture of yourself when you're a child, maybe about 5 years old or so, maybe younger. And in the program, we go through a meditation where we look at a picture of our 5 year old self. And for me, I think my picture was like I was 3 or 4 and I was on a swing, and I am just the most smiley, happy, in the moment, joyful, carefree being. And I'm sure, thinking back to what that moment must have looked like, I was just thinking about how, I always had my younger sister, Erin, who's a year and a half younger than me, and my mom, and we were just like the three best friends that anyone could ever have. And the three of us were all together, and I always felt supported and loved. And that is the essence of who I am, just wanting to be in the moment and carefree and feeling loved and joyful and swinging and And all those things are so good, and they bring their own wise gifts. And so in this meditation, part of it is he's asked, what do you want to tell your younger self? What do you want to tell this precious younger child? And in that moment, you are telling yourself what you need to hear right now. And I'll tell you, in full transparency, I told my inner child to have self-confidence. And even though over the last 3 years, my self-confidence has grown so much, not by any outer achievement. It's all learning self-trust and worthiness and boundaries and changing my mindset. That has given me confidence. But even still, I feel like, what could I do with even more self-confidence? And then he asks, what is a gift that the inner child, the essence of you, can give to you right now? The gift that my inner child wanted to give me was to let me know, just to trust that everything is going to be okay. I think I always have this underlying anxiety that about whatever, it could be I'm having the best time ever in the park, walking with my friends, and there might be some sort of underlying anxiety about the future, the unknowing. And it doesn't have to be like that. My essence tells me, just trust that everything's going to be okay. And in that trust, it will. And if it doesn't, then you just use your sage and your Shiro mentality to guide you. So I think at the heart of this essence slash inner child activity is really empathy, right? Like, you would not treat this little child in such a way that you treat yourself. You would have so much more care and concern and patience for little 5 year old you. So having this empathy for ourselves is really important, but also having that empathy for other people. And if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time or know me, my marriage is my greatest teacher. And to just in the difficult, challenging moments with my husband, to just imagine him as a little 4-year-old boy who had such a hard childhood and needs so much empathy. And really, anybody like Ted in accounting, or, somebody who's having road rage at you, we are all just little children who are sometimes having fit. We really need to have empathy for each other. So this one is just a little episode to ask you to find that childhood picture and really tap into and get in touch with what is your essence. Is it playful? Is it curious? Is it carefree? Is it caring and thoughtful and sensitive? Whatever your 18 karat gold self is underneath all the piles of plaster and bird shit that have come up over the years, what is underneath all of that? What is the purest essence of yourself? And really take this moment to get in touch with that, because we forget, and it has so many gifts for us. And take this moment and just give yourself a hug, just a little huggers. Because you know what? You may not have gotten a hug today, and you are always there to give yourself a hug. So really go for it there, Pat your head if you need to. Give yourself a little oxytocin. I really want to know what came up in this little meditation. What is the wisdom that your inner child is giving to you? What is the wisdom that you are giving back to your inner child? What are the words you assign to your essence? And try it out on somebody who's really pushing your buttons, and you just try and see if you can imagine them as a child. Their hair, their eyes, what they look like. It's really an awesome, it's really a game-changing practice. So let me know. I am so grateful for you listening today. Thank you so much. In the coming weeks, we have some really awesome interviews. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And I'll see you back next time. But in the meantime, don't just manifest, Megafest!